Hey there, Sam Ashers, and welcome to the Spotlight. I'm Dave Stutz, and next to me is the legendary guitar player, Albert Lee. Albert, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
How's everything going?
Yeah, good. You know,
Nice.
ending up a tour tonight.
Ending the tour tonight in
Yeah,
our
so-
hometown.
yeah.
How lucky for us. Where are you playing tonight? Bayshore, I heard.
Bayshore, that's right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so you got the band with you, got
Yeah.
your set list ready. That's all. Ending the tour on Long Island. So where have you been in the past? What are some of your favorite venues on the tour?
All over. We went to Toronto. We're in, mostly around New York State.
Nice.
You know.
All around the States.
Yeah.
Playing the city?
We did. We played the Iridium for 2 nights. You know, that was good fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
And how were the shows? Good
Great,
crowds?
Yeah, good
Exciting?
crowd. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
very good. Yeah.
Well, it probably seems like a foolish question now that I see it, but guitar player, you're an Ernie Ball man.
For a long time. Yeah.
How long have you been with ErnieAll?
Well, I met Ernie and Sterling about 1970, 71.
Wow.
They
Rich
it was
history.
my first tour in the States. I was with Head, Hands and Feet. They heard our record on the radio and they were quite tickled to discover there was this English band playing country music. You know,
Nice.
so they came out to see us a couple of times.
That is great.
And then they invited us down to the factory in Newport Beach and really became part of the family. I used
Nice.
to go down there and sleep on the couch. And,
Perfect.
you know, so I've known them a long time, you know, early 70s.
Right. And have you been playing Ernie Ball since then?
Well, no, they...
When did you start playing them?
Well, they started to make their own guitars when they bought the Music Man name.
Right.
Sterling decided that, you know, why not build our own electric, you know.
Sure.
And that was early 80s, 84 maybe, 83, 84.
Nice. You've been playing them 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, the Albert Lee model is just, as a guitar player and looking over many professional models, I find this to be a very unique instrument. It really is, from the humbucker to the single coil. How much influence did you have in building this guitar?
Not a lot.
Not a lot at all?
No, I really, I adopted it, really.
Okay.
I'm the stepfather of this guitar.
The stepfather of the Albert Lee signature guitar.
Yeah. It was Dudley Gimple, I think, and Sterling. They came up with the shape as an alternative to the Silhouette. And they showed it at NAMM one year, the first year, and I thought, boy, I like that. It's kind of wacky looking. You don't see anything like that, you know. And I guess they really didn't get a lot of interest at that time. Plus, they had a lot smaller factory, and they were although they were making the guitars, they were concentrating on keeping the Music Man bass going, which had always been very popular.
Yeah.
You know? So Sterling had one made for himself that was all maple body and maple neck. And we used to play together in the band quite often.
Really?
It's called Biff Baby's All Stars. That was
Perfect.
Sterling's nickname, Biff.
Awesome.
So he brought this guitar along to this gig. He said, "Yeah, wait, you see this guitar, you're going to want it." You know,
Right.
and of course he opened up the case. I said, "God, that's great." He said, "Okay, it's yours."
Well,
And
that is one thing I love about the Ernie Balls, is that, you know, there's a few guitar shapes that have just kind of become industry standard. You know, the Fender Stratocaster, that's a classic
course,
shape.
yeah.
The Les Paul, classic shape. I don't think Ernie Ball really does classic shapes. They really do their own shapes. Like if you look at your guitar and like the St. Vincent guitar and all this stuff, they're very uniquely shaped.
Oh yeah, they are. Every one of them is, you know, got its own.
Absolutely,
its own
its own
design.
personality. Now, as far as the pickup configurations, is that something you had influence on, or was it always a 5-way switch on 2 humbuckers?
No, it started out with my original one was like a Strat setup. You know, it was 3 single coils,
Right.
and a 5-way switch, and that's what I use to this day. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Nice.
But they asked me 2 or 3 years ago, you know, how would you feel if we put out a double humbucker version of your guitar? I said, well, yeah, love it, great.
Sure.
You know, because a lot of guys may prefer that. You know.
Yeah. Well, and it does split coil in a way that I've never seen before, but it just seems so simple. You just put it on a 5-way switch and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't see that too often.
No, I think it works really well. Yeah.
Now this one does not have the battery pack, because this is the humbucker, but yours does, the single coil version. So those are active.
Yeah, they're
Really just to kind of kill the hum a little bit.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, and it works really well, and it doesn't really affect adversely affect the tone. You know.
Sure. So let me ask you this: someone who's been playing guitar for so long, decades, is it like putting on an old T-shirt, or do you still get excited when you pick up guitars and see new guitars and things like? Is it still an exciting experience picking up a guitar?
Yes, but especially old guitars.
Right.
Like I've just looked in Sammy's office and
Yeah.
saw some nice guitars on the wall there. I'd love to take
And
home,
plenty
you
of
know.
them. Sammy's got a whole collection. So when you're on tour and things like that, do you ever find time to stop into music shops and things like that and pick up guitars and check them out?
Occasionally, you know, I don't.
I'm sure it's
u-
busy being on the road, but
Yeah, I don't usually get a lot of time lately. You know,
Sure.
you just get to the hotel and you've got an hour there to
Right.
clean up and then
And that's
sound
about
check,
it.
gig. You know, have a glass of wine afterwards and then
then back at
back to
it.
bed.
Yeah. How much time do you have at home, just on your own, without touring?
Oh, not a lot lately.
much?
I'm very busy at the moment, but I do like going to the music stores, especially old ones, because
Right.
I mean, the days of finding those classic guitars are over, unfortunately. You know,
Right.
but no, you used to be able to find some gems, but
Right.
not so much anymore. Everyone knows what they're worth. You know?
Right. Now speaking of home, it's a rare opportunity that I can ask a legendary guitarist from the UK a question about sound and tone and things like that. But are you still calling the UK home, or do you live in the States? Or
Oh, I've been in California for 45 years.
okay.
Yeah.
So the question that I have is, over the decades, and even now, like if you look at a Black Star amp, if you roll the tone one way, it's the American sound. If you roll it the other way, it's the British sound. And it's been this thing over the decades, whether you prefer, British or American. Do you ever get wrapped up in that? Do you have a preference over British or American? And do you think it's still relevant in today's music? Do you think today's guitar players are still talking about American versus British sound?
Oh, I guess they are, but I'm trapped in the past.
Right.
Maybe not trapped, but that's what the sound that really got me was the sound of a Fender guitar with the Fender amp,
Sure.
and just love that sound. That single coil, and I've never really strayed from that at all. I find that disguising the sound of a guitar with with distortion and lots of
Right.
effects, gets away from what really attracted me to the guitar.
Sure. That's a great attitude to have, really.
Yeah.
Just the natural character of the guitar and the amp.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I happen to be a single coil guy myself, so
Mm.
I'm curious, do you have a favorite neck position? I'm always the 4/5 kind of guy, but with your kind of sound, I have a feeling some nice twang down on the bridge end is good too. Do you have a favorite position that you find yourself in more often than?
Yeah, I'm usually on the back pickup and middle pickup.
Okay, so you're like,
Yeah, I
we'll call
use-
that the 2 for now.
Yeah, I use that a lot on my 3 pickup guitar. Yeah, but I
Nice.
also love the singles. I love the middle pickup on its own, and I love the neck pickup on its own. Real
Yeah.
sort of glassy sound.
Absolutely. Nice twang, nice quack to
Yeah.
the single coil
Get
guitars.
that Dwayne Eddy sound.
Absolutely. Get that Albert Lee sound. You know what I mean? So Albert, like we mentioned, tonight is the last night of this tour. So by the time this airs, hopefully all of our subscribers went out to check out Albert Lee on Long Island. But where can they go to find the future tour dates? Because I know there's a lot more.
Yeah, well, albertleelive.com and albertlee.co.uk. There are a couple of websites that
Sure.
will have the dates up there. But no, I've got a lot going on, because I have a band in England too, so I go over there 2 or 3 times a year and work
Wow.
a couple of weeks at a time.
You are a busy man.
Yeah, and we're going to Australia in August.
Amazing.
Japan in a week or so. So I'm not.
So
not
for
so-
all of our viewers, you are covered. No matter where you live, you can catch Albert Lee and his awesome band. So albertleelive.com
Yeah,
for those of us, and albertlee.co.uk.
yeah,
Okay, so you can check out tickets there. And for those of you on Facebook, be sure to check out Official Albert Lee for any information on tour dates and just to keep up with Albert Lee and the band. So Albert, I'm going to let you take us out by playing this amazing guitar. And thank you so much for being here.
Oh, and it's my great pleasure. I'm tickled to be invited. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Big thank you to Sammy for having me here. And
Of course.
yeah, it's a great pleasure. Yeah. I like this guitar. It's good.